Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you are having a wonderful day, and I am so glad that you've taken some time today to come and listen to a little bit more about Okta and how it can help your customers access all of your products and services in one seamless view. I'll go ahead and share my screen with everyone, and hopefully you'll be able to see it. Awesome. Thank you so much for letting me know. It definitely helps. Sometimes you always panic in case, can they see it? Can they not? Now, if you do have any questions during the course of today's short webinar, then just let me know, pop them in the chat or pop them in the questions box. No question is a stupid question. Please feel free to ask anything and everything. And I hope that you've got a nice lunch there ready and that you enjoy eating your sandwich while listening to me. So today, as I said, we're here to talk about Okta and how Okta can really accelerate your CIAM experience and make it so much more robust and also so much better for the experience of your end users. Now, when we talk about CIAM, we're talking about customer identity and access management. And this is a real big focus area of Okta, and so many of the current Okta customers that have been using Okta for their internal employees have now started to deploy Okta out to their end users, to their customers, and have realized massive benefits off of it. And we just really wanted to share that knowledge with you. Now, just to start off, I'll give you a little bit of a run through of what Okta is in case you don't already know. And then I'll show you an experience as an end user, as a customer, moving through a organization that actually has Okta CIAM deployed and are using it for all of their customers. And this is one of the largest Okta customers that we're pleased to have. So I'll take you through a little bit of their story later on as well. Now, Okta really is the foundation for secure connections between people and technology, whether those are employees and applications that you use on a day-to-day basis, remote workers on mobile devices, partners and portals that they need for lead registration, deal registration, or even just accessing documents, reports, PowerPoints, whatever it might be, customers and your products, and pretty much anyone to anything. Now, Okta Identity Cloud is made up of several different modules that make it so much easier to focus on the areas that you want to kind of push for, and also focus on the areas that you are interested in and obviously want to improve. Now, the main ones that we're going to be using today for the CIAM piece is really the Universal Directory and a single sign-on. If you wanted to, you could deploy this with lifecycle management as well and actually have everything kind of created for you when a user registers. Or you could also put on top of it something like Adaptive MFA, which is a great way of just giving your customer that little bit of kind of sense of, okay, I've got two-factor set up. And a lot of end users are used to using two-factor now, whether it's with Google, Facebook, or any other social media accounts. So people really look for a way to embed two-factor, especially if it's through a really simple measure such as a text message and not an application that they have to download, and Okta can really help with that. And even if you have mobile apps that you're deploying out and your end users will access your products or services through those applications, we have a whole wealth of SDKs that can be implemented into your native mobile apps and allow all of that authentication and sign-on to go through Okta, but still obviously look and feel like your normal app and have no difference for the end user apart from a much more seamless experience. Now, this really pushes value for IT by creating a more productive workforce and obviously reducing IT costs and delivering enhanced security across varied devices, and really pushing for IT transformation. And we really push for the value for developers because they can focus on what they want to do every day. They can build those web, SaaS, or mobile apps without having to think about, okay, wait, how am I going to secure this? I speak to developers all the time, and one of the main things they normally complain about is the fact that, they're not security experts, they're not authentication experts, they're not identity specialists, and they really worry about, being the cause of a problem for their business, or worry about an application being inherently insecure because they haven't covered all the bases, or because the login screen or the authentication has been added as an afterthought. And by using Okta, you can literally take a couple of lines of code, embed it into your application, and then all of that sign-on experience can say exactly as the customer already has it, but you can add on those extra factors like multi-factor, you can deploy security policies out to them, you can have reviews of account access, things like that, much more easily. And again, just give a better experience to your end users, especially if you are in banking or anything where people have financial information. Obviously, given the current rise of emitter threats and things like that, which are just kind of come back from the what seems like 2014 or something like that, it's been a real kind of focus area for a lot of different businesses. Now, of course, all of these different modules are on the industry's most reliable and secure cloud platform. We have never been taken down for upgrades, testing, whatever it might be. We've had 100% uptime for the past 5 years, and I'm reliably informed by some of the sales engineers at Okta themselves, and then some. But I started working with them about 5 years ago, so I can definitely verify for that long. And we're CSA star tested, SOC 2 Type 2, ISO 27001, 27018, HIPAA, and even FedRAMP deployed, which allows American government to utilize Okta as well. I normally say if it's good enough for them, secure enough for them, then it should be secure for your customers. Now, the way that we integrate into your existing Active Directory, if that's what you're currently using or managing your customer identity, is we can actually leverage the identity they already have. So there's no new registration. There's no need for them to change their password if they don't want to. There'll be no change to that end user, which is really great, especially if you don't want to do it kind of with them knowing. You just want it to be a seamless experience from the old system to the new. We can essentially use our Okta Active Directory agents, suck up all of those credentials that you've currently got, put them into Okta, map them with the profiles for those end user application accounts. And then essentially we can do all of the policy-based stuff, all of the multi-factor, embedding it into different applications, authenticating across loads of different device types, whether that's web, SaaS, mobile apps, you name it. And all of that authentication can come through Okta, but still use that AD credential that you've currently got there for that customer. If you're not using AD, if you're using another tool, don't worry, we can still do this across LDAP, OpenLDAP, or any other LDAP platforms. Or if you're using another database form or something like that, then we can pull that into Okta as well. Just wanted to show the AD integration because it's kind of a commonality and a lot of customers for their internal employees and also, those customer identities there. Now, as I said, we really are the most reliable identity as a service platform available. We never take you offline for upgrades. We're really redundant and scalable. And as I said, we've been online for several years now at 100% uptime. And we actually publish all of our uptime statistics at okta.com/trust. So you can go back year by year and see if we've even been down for 15 minutes, under an hour, over an hour. And you should see lots of nice little green circles there. You can have your Okta org, which is kind of what we call your SaaS instance of Okta, in whatever availability zone you want. So for example, now within Brexit, etc., you may want it to stay either within Ireland or within the UK in London, and that can all be done via Okta. So just to finish up, before I actually show you a experience walkthrough of Okta itself, Okta is born and built in the cloud. We really connect anyone to anything. We preserve your choice in applications and really kind of prevent against you being forced down any certain route of an application. We are literally the vendor of choice for a lot of identity service vendors, and I think that probably speaks volumes in terms of if an identity platform is using Okta for its identity, that shows you how great it is as a platform. We provide a single simple interface, which is really beneficial for anybody who's an end user or a customer accessing a service or an application, because they'll have that same identity, that same workflow across all different devices, mobile, web apps, or even a downloaded application. We can really push for a much more secure implementation of authentication for your end users as well. we've got proven scalability, and we can really future-proof your identity choice. And I would hope that everybody would agree if you've ever been to Octane or any of the Okta events. But Okta is really focused and passionate on identity, and it really sees identity being kind of the focus for security in the future, and control over your identity being one of the major factors that people will be concerned about as end users and customers in the coming months and years. And of course, we're always on, we're never taking you offline, and you can always be kind of secure in the fact that Okta as a platform is never going to be down for you, even though it's a cloud deployment. We really robustly deploy you 3 different times in 3 different clusters in separate VPCs, and as long as we're able to, depending on your requirements, and separate availability zones as well to prevent against any natural disasters or anything like that coming in between you and signing in. And so we really push this always on identity platform. So let me go ahead and jump out of my slides. And I know I said we'd only be 20 minutes, but just let me know if you have any questions or if you do need to jump off. I won't take too much longer of your time, but I just wanted to show you what it's like for an end user. So MGM Resorts, MGM Grand, lots of different MGM resorts, nightlife, clubs, casinos, you name it, they pretty much do it. A lot of the time Octane is hosted in Vegas, and you can see the number of MGM signs. It's almost like they own the strip. Now, MGM have been one of the biggest Okta customers for a long time now. Use it for internal authentication and customer authentication via their MLife program. Now, MLife, if you're not aware, is kind of like a membership benefit program that's free to join, and you can get things like faster check-in by being an MLife member. You can get points for staying at different destinations and redeem them for different gifts. And you can also get discounts and coupons and things like that. Now, obviously, MGM has a whole host of different resorts, and by utilizing Okta with their MLife program, I can go ahead and go through any of these resorts, such as the Aria's website, and you're going to see that I'm actually going to stay signed in. And my Wi-Fi is being really slow right now. It's always the way. So now you can see that I can actually just be on the Aria's website. I can view all the suites. I can look at the restaurants, and I'm still signed in to my MLife account. No credits though, no points. Now, it's the same across all of the different resorts, and it means that if I do want to book anything, it's much easier for me as an end user. I don't have to make any new accounts, and also it means that MGM can make a great profile of information of me. Not only, okay, what hotels does she like to stay in? Where, what type of like resorts does she like? Does she prefer high end, medium price? Do I prefer stuff at the spa? All of those types of things. But also then when I go into the casino, they can say, okay, Grace bought this many chips. She did this. Grace went to this restaurant and she used her MLife card there too. And they can start building this profile of me as a Las Vegas animal. And they can say, okay, based on this, we're going to market these particular deals to me. Okay, based on this, we're going to market this wedding package towards her. And therefore, you can actually get a wealth of information about your customer because you've got this seamless identity across all your products. So it's great for them in terms of them just moving around your account, their account, sorry. But it's also great for your business because you can really get a wealth of information about that customer and build up that profile. I think a great one as well is talking about Adobe, a massive, obviously, software house that has hundreds of different products, and it uses Okta for all of its customers' identity. So if you're using any Adobe products online, or if you're logging in to download any ones that you've bought to use on premise, it can be a really great way of building up that profile of, okay, what does Grace use? Does she use Photoshop? Does she use Adobe Reader? Is she using PDF Viewer? Things like that. And then see the types of ways that you use it. So then again, marketing becomes a lot more specific, a lot more pinpointed, and that way a lot better reach and will be a lot more effective because you have more information about that end user without having to spend, a very, very long time trying to piece up together transactions. And even if I book under a different name, but I still swipe my own life card when I get there, or even if I haven't booked something under my name, but then when I'm there, I buy a drink or buy room service, use my own life card, again, they're going to see that I'm staying there, even if I'm just as a guest for somebody else, just popping by, then they can say, okay, there was a room booked, but it wasn't under Grace's name, but it might be her other half that booked it, or a friend, girls trip. And that way they're able to see, what types of stays I'm doing as well. So they can build up again that profile of, okay, let's not push like a wedding package because she's currently doing like girls' holidays, and let's instead do like a spa package to promote to her with maybe some restaurant vouchers, entertainment, etc. So it's really great to deploy out Okta for your customer identity. Again, not only for your own kind of peace of mind, the security aspects and maintaining that identity profile, and also giving the end user a lot of control over who has access to that data. A great one is the program that's now going on in the States, where essentially people can have ownership of their own medical data. It cannot be shared without their consent. It cannot be accessed without them authorizing it, and they can see that in real time. So if they ever go into hospital, if they ever go into a clinic, they can see the notes that were put on the system or against their identity, and they can have control over who has access to that. And this is what I mean about customer identity. It's a lot more than just marketing and signing in and just that authentication piece. It's about ownership of data and control of data as well. And as we come into this kind of lifestyle where so much of our life is online, or through smart products, or through things that need an account, even games, we look at the future of gaming with VR headsets. If you're dealing with a lot of different headsets out there now, you have to have something like a Facebook account to use them, and they won't allow you to use it without. And again, that shows you very quickly that these identities that almost seem meaningless or not very important are really going to become a massive thing for the future, because we're not going to be able to play our favorite game without it. We're not going to be able to buy our groceries, or even be able to share our medical information with who we need to. So really creating a robust customer identity platform and a program around that can really get you ahead in the game in terms of the experience for the end user. You can see how great it is for me to move around lots of different resorts here and be able to pretty much have my identity automatically signed in for me. If I jump to the Excalibur, I always like looking at this one just because it's so pretty. So if I want to go stay at the castle, I can see here and I can book, and it will be straight away. As you can see, again, I'm still on my account. So I know that I've been a little bit longer than planned, but I wanted to see if anybody had any questions or anything I can clarify. Again, as I said, no question is a stupid question, and it will be really interesting, to hear your thoughts around customer identity, and also maybe how you will feel about, do you want more control of your own identity? Do you want to know who's accessing your medical records? Or are you happy to kind of almost give the control over to that data owner rather than having control yourself? We've had a good question here, which is just saying, yes, I definitely want more control over my data. I completely agree. And it's something that is kind of scary when you think about the ways in which that, obviously data exfiltration is such a kind of focus for a lot of businesses right now. And we know that it's happening all the time. And with the rise of campaigns like Emitter happening, we've seen a lot of businesses be hit, and so much of that customer identity information be fed into kind of God knows what. And so this allows you to not only secure yourselves against that, but also give your end customers that little bit of kind of security and sense of ownership of their data, because they can know that it's, only residing within the system. They can see it, they can access it, and things like that. So if we don't have any other questions, I'm going to go ahead and finish this off there. But if you do have any other questions, please feel free to pop them through to me. I'll put my email in the chat, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.